No, that's fair. And so I'm just trying to tie it to like this kind of the scope of the RA framework. The concern that would be most pressing for long duration in your mind is that if we all get to a place where the ELCC used in both IRP and RA is the same, that what we are calculating, so kind of assuming that what we're developing here would also apply to the IRP contracts. Is that the right tie to your thinking?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're helping. And there, I can hear background. My little ones are at school.
More jelly? Yeah.
Yes, Jim. I will poison it by squirting more delightful goodies.
Oh, I think someone needs to mute. Craig, I think you're muted.
Oh, of course. That had to happen at least once today. So yeah, everyone please mute if you're, I think they muted, so we're fine. Let me see if we have any more questions. I am not seeing any lined up.
Well, again, thank you so much, Greg, for your help this morning and for all the facilitators, and Lisa and team at PG&E for just all the back end stuff. You're doing so much, and Bridget with the survey. Thank you. And we're really excited to be part of the process. And as a facilitator of the next meeting, looking forward to the hedging conversation. But again, thank you all very much. Let's continue the conversation, and please ping me for additional questions.
Thank you, Julia. Really appreciate it. Let's briefly I want to see if there are any questions. We want to kind of reopen the general or open Q&A for folks. I want to just see if there's any. So raise your hand now if you have questions for this or any of the earlier presentations. Okay, I'm not seeing any. So Barbara, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I have been asked to speak to is the what's going on in the process at the Energy Commission with respect to QC for demand response. And I am afraid that it is significantly out of sync with this process, which is of considerable concern. The PUC has asked for a draft report from the Energy Commission by mid-February of next year. And although the commission decision had originally requested March, the Energy Commission had a workshop. Hang on a second, I have to get rid of background noise. The Energy Commission has had a working group process that was meeting weekly and is now meeting every other week. And on December 3rd, there was an IPER workshop with a status report. But I think the issue is that the working group of the Energy Commission has been focusing on an interim solution that is would be usable for 2023. And it is considering a couple of proposals, which I'll mention briefly. And it is not considering slice of day. Slice of day has not been discussed at all. And the direction in which the Energy Commission seems to be going is to have an interim proposal for 2023. And then once there's a commission decision on slice of day in June of next year, to start considering how demand response could be incorporated into slice of day. And I think for some of us, we have some serious timing issues here. First of all, the interim solution that has been proposed, well, there are two, although we're not clear whether the second one is for 2023 or 2024. The IOUs and the CAISO have proposed something called Load Impact Protocol Informed ELCC for 2023. And this would involve using the load impact protocols in different weather conditions to generate some QC values for demand response based on, as I said, various weather scenarios, because some of the DR is weather sensitive. And the idea is that on a hotter day, you would have more megawatts available. And right now, the CAISO's rules do not allow the availability of demand response to vary and to be different from what's on the supply plan and to vary with anything like weather. There's another proposal by the Council on Energy and Demand Management that would involve using a methodology which is used in some of the Eastern ISOs that involves basically making a payment upfront and then based on performance, having the demand response provider pay penalties if it doesn't meet certain performance requirements on an after the fact basis. So it's a very different conceptual framework from the one that's been proposed by the utilities and the CAISO. Now, I'm sorry. A couple of thoughts. One is if in the way that the load impact protocol process works for demand response is that right now, December 2021, the load impact protocol process starts. The LIPs are adopted by April 1st of 2022, and they are used to inform RA for 2023. So if there's no decision, and I mean, once you've started the process, you basically have to finish it and spend the money, and it's not inexpensive. If for DR, there's no consideration of slice of day until after June of 2022, then there is not very much time to get even a proposal together, much less get the PUC to adopt a framework for DR for slice of day that does not run up against the December 2022 load impact protocol process for RA compliance year 2024. So there is a significant possibility of a lag in terms of slice of day for 2024. The other concern that some people have, and I'm trying to be really neutral about this, is as came up in my conversation briefly with Peter Griffiths at PG&E on Wednesday, the idea of using ELCC for slice of day, in particular if you're going in the direction of 24 hourly slices on a monthly basis, is it's an awful lot of ELCC calculations, and certainly a lot more than we're doing right now. So that means it's going to be very computationally complex and time consuming. And it's not clear that it makes a whole lot of sense to do that for 1 year and then do something else, unless the parties, as part of this workshop process, decide that they think it's perfectly feasible to do all those ELCC calculations for all those hours. So I will say that there is no consensus in the Energy Commission process. There are positions, but I don't believe there's consensus. Comments on that process are to be submitted to the Energy Commission today, and then there will be in writing, and we'll see if there's more consensus in writing than there is in the discussion. But there is a definite synchronicity problem between the Energy Commission process and this process. And I think I'll probably leave it at that and wait to get some questions, because that's kind of the bare bones of the process issues. The other, there's one more point I should make, Greg, and that is that the when this LIP informed ELCC process, if it is put forth by the Energy Commission and adopted, the PUC representative at the IBER workshop said that he thought that the Energy Division could do the ELCC calculations. And that may be true, although I think it'll be very challenging. However, as people said before, with respect to ELCC and LOLE, there really needs to be a process for vetting those. And it's not clear that this time frame really allows much process for input in terms of vetting those and making sure that the results make any kind of sense. So that is yet another concern that it does exist in parallel. Sorry about that.
No, it's important. I'm a little. I wonder if we're if we go through this process, like the whole idea was to simplify things, but I don't think that's going to happen, and that's fine. Getting it right, I think, is more important than necessary simplification as the ultimate goal. Great. So, do we have any questions for Barbara? Kathleen.
Hey.
Fine. Hi.
Yeah.
I think someone may not be on mute again. I'm gonna do another. If you're not on mute, please mute yourself.
Republican company.
Oh. Let's see.
I can't hear either one of you guys.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties on a Friday. I just wanted to flag something, and this isn't a question, and I apologize. I just heard Barbara say calculate hourly ELCC values, and I just wanted to confirm that the proposal that's out there for determining ELCCs is to calculate monthly ELCC values. So I just wanted to make sure Barbara was aware of that as the DR community thinks about this. I also think that, like, fully support the idea we need to continue getting it right. I think both Gridwell, Vistra, and the SCE proposals, this is a process question actually, kind of for Greg, if you want to take it, but all include now this idea of let's land on the framework in this workshop series, have that go forward, pick one, then we need to do a subsequent forum to refine the details. That is okay, and do you think that fits within what direction we got? Because I heard a little bit of Barbara thinking that wasn't doable, and I think it's fair to pose the question if we're both assuming that that's what we're going to do.
Are you talking about the DR process or this whole workshop process?
I hear both SCE saying, here's a requirement proposal, but we'll define the details in a subsequent forum. I also hear the Gridwell saying the same thing. We're going to do ELCC. Let's have a subsequent stakeholder process to refine the details. I assumed that was doable and just wanted to ask the process question that we can wrap up this workshop series, get a report submitted, and then when the winning horse is picked, go through and do details. Is that fair?
Well, since you asked, no, I've been saying this since day one, and in internal communications to WPTF2 is like, probably how this will play out most likely is that we'll present several proposals that are various degrees of completeness and a number of issues that aren't resolved. And that the commission will have to deliberate on that. I imagine they'll take comments and reply comments, and they'll probably maybe even want to have a workshop with the ALJ present and commission advisor, and that will probably won't get a decision. Well, the decision that we get will be, okay, of these various proposals and the issues, we think this one has the most promise, move ahead with this one, and then here's the time frame for resolving the additional issues. That takes us through to a decision, probably earliest, a final decision on implementation details will be first quarter of 2023, and that would still be timely in terms of having a program that's ready to go to 2024. Now, I know in one of the earlier decisions, the commission said 2023 to have a program that's implementable for 2023. My recollection is that was changed in the final decision that identified the slice of day approach and said, we want to have this, ready to go in 2024. So that's the target at this point, is 2024. So I think there's time, but these are some pretty thorny issues, and I'm a generalist, so more so than an expert on some of these more granular topics like ELCC. So I don't have a good sense of how close we are to resolution. But I've been saying all along that we should be prepared to maybe not have something that's fully ready to go until 2025. But that's a I kind of recalibrate that after every workshop, how close we are to 2024.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please, Barbara.
With respect to Kathleen's comment about hourly ELCC, monthly doesn't work for demand response. First of all, you don't have a generic technology. You've got lots of different demand response programs, each of which have different attributes. So you're not going to get one monthly value for demand response, regardless of how you do it. I also think that you've got availability issues with respect to demand response in terms of time of day and in terms of weekend versus non-weekend that have to be addressed. So I think it's just a little bit more complicated. It's sort of like the long duration energy storage having all kinds of flavors that you have to take into account. I think it would be really useful. I think we need to get something to the commission, and then I think it would be really useful to do a reality check with the commission in terms of how much it actually expects to have at any given time. I know that there have been Energy Commission Division people who have been participating in these workshops, but I think a check-in, as I said last time, is in order in terms of what their expectations are.
Well, I just want to invite staff that's on the call now, if you're willing, and we won't hold you to this, but you know, we really haven't heard any reaction, or not a whole lot of reaction this far from staff. Is anyone prepared to speak to that, kind of what the commission is hoping or expecting to have presented to them in February, and then the timeline for acting on that, and then for final implementation based upon kind of where we are at now in the process and the accumulation of information and proposals? No? Yeah. So
this is Jamie. I do want to chime in and just say I did hear you. I don't think we have the appropriate staff on the phone call today to opine on that discussion. I know the DR group or DR team is engaged, and so is the RA folks and the modeling folks. So we do have staff, engaged, and we just don't have the right staff to opine on it on this call.
That's fair enough. And I think maybe it makes sense. And again, this is all in the interest of just kind of figuring out where we are. And maybe we could have that conversation between the, maybe have a phone call between the co-facilitators and staff in early January, maybe, to get a better fix on that. If that seems doable to you, Jamie.
Yeah, that would be doable. Why don't you reach out with some times that work, and we could get the right people in Energy Division to be on the call.
Awesome. Also,
Thank you, Greg.
right, any more on substance?
The only other thing, if I can just throw, is a reminder, where I believe Gridwell's proposal is at, and what I will do is make a suggestion for her to submit, for Carrie to package this up and submit informal comments next week, if we can. If not, I can maybe take the ball to provide some clarity on what I understand, but is that ELCC was for solar, wind, hybrid, and operationally limited resources, and that hydro and DR were kind of open-ended in what she had previously presented. So I just was providing clarity on the ELCC to apply to use limited and intermittence, but I believe DR was the idea was open because the DR working group was going to provide clarity. So just want to provide that clarity, and then I will drop. Thank you.
No, that's fair enough. And I wouldn't have expected necessarily any of the proposals to drill down anymore on DR because of that working group process that's taking place under the aegis of the Energy Commission. Any more on substance? Any more on process? I just want to quickly, since this is the holiday season and the gift giving season, I've prepared some T-shirts that I'll be taking orders on. We have let me see. Where are we? We have a couple options here. We have, this is one option. Can folks see that? So that's one option. The second option is this. So just let me know, and if you want one of those. Hopefully there'll be more orders for this T-shirt than for this T-shirt, but that remains to be seen. So anyhow.
Are you going to for every year?
Right. Let me see if I can.
I want I survived. I want I survived.
Yeah, I survived. How do I stop sharing? Okay, trying to be clever here or funny.
Greg, I want one of
yeah.
each.
Yeah, one of each. That's right. You can buy them for your colleagues too. So you have a choice. Deval, you want to go ahead and close us out? Smaller font.
Sure, Greg. I mean, first of all, a big thanks to you for pretty much marathoning the Master of Ceremony today. So thank you, Greg. Appreciate it very much. And thank you for all the presenters. And, it was good, robust conversation. Some of it a little bit too deep in the weeds, but nevertheless, we needed to kind of at least touch on them. So appreciate everyone's patience and, happy holidays to everyone.
We'll be back on January 5th, and thank you, Deval, for you and Brian for all the workshops we've co-facilitated on. I think it's worked out really well. The Division of Labor has been great help to make this run smoothly. So thank you. And okay, I'll shut up. So I know some people wanted to say.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if nothing else, we can adjourn today.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thanks. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.